Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the West Ham Network. And I am Anton, joined by Holly. Holly, how are you doing? You okay?
Yeah, good. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you. I mean, listen, it's all West Ham 1 minute. It's all England the next minute. We've got everything going on in the West Ham and England world. But we are here to have a few conversations about England. And we'll talk a little bit about West Ham. But it's not just going to be us that's joining us. And we thought sometimes you've got to have a bit of an expert. Sometimes you've got to have somebody that's in the know. Sometimes you've got to have somebody that maybe should have been in that role at one point in his life with all of his knowledge. Do you agree, Holly?
Yes, I definitely
do. So without further ado, let's introduce to you our guest for today. There's no introduction needed. His name is Mr. Harry Redknapp. Harry Redknapp, how you doing, my friend?
Hi, guys. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on the channel.
Pleasure.
You can probably tell I'm like a little boy on Christmas Day when you get to meet some of your heroes, and that is exactly how this feels, Harry. And I am not joking you with that one as well. So thank you very much for taking the time to come on and have a chin wag with us. So, Harry, I'm going to get straight into it, mate. The first question I want to ask to you is it coming home?
What's the question?
I think I've said all along. I said before the tournament, I thought we would win it. I thought we had the best squad, and I really couldn't see anybody else that would. I fancied England strongly. We haven't played well. The draw has gone our way. We end up in half of the draw. With probably the 4 or 5 other best teams in it, all in one half of the draw. It's just as though, I think apart from Holland, where we had a good first half, it's sometimes you need a bit of luck, and we've certainly had plenty of it. If we're truthful, we can't sit and say we've been fantastic, we've done this. With a minute to go, we're getting beat. When Bellingham does the red kick, we get the penalties, we score. It's as though our name's on it, and I think sometimes in the cup, your name can be on it in cup competitions. And I just get a feeling that sooner or later we've got to turn in a good performance that you would expect from this group of players. It's the best squad in the tournament. And I just hope that tomorrow night is the night that we all come together as a team and turn in a great performance and win it. I think we've got a great chance.
I so hope so. And you touched there on the talent of the players that we've got in this squad. And I suppose hopes are really high with what we have, the expectations we have now with these players. But as a result of that, we've also seen a lot of criticism about Gareth Southgate and the way that we're performing when we have so many talented players. And I know a lot of fans have been disappointed. And you said as well, we've kind of sat back, particularly until the first half of the last game. We haven't looked like the side we expected to see. Do you see a different side, I suppose, to team selection and tactics, having managed professionally?
Well, I think Gareth is, if we're honest about it, Gareth is not a football manager who's going to go overboard and play attacking, open you up, play. He will still go probably with Trippier on the left-hand side. It's been quite a, we always end up erring on the side of being more defensive than attacking, really. And I think that's a little bit how we've played, The boy Cole Palmer, really, there's got to be a place in the team for him. He's just incredible when he comes on. I just think we have gone we are safe, and Gareth is a safe pair of hands. That's the way he manages. And it's obviously worked out right because we got to the final. But if we're truthful, as I say, you look at the games, we're there, but we haven't, when you've got a minute to go in the game and you take the long throw in, I mean, it was slinging it in the box with it was your last hurrah, really. It was the last throw of the dice when we scored. And it's gone like that. I think if it goes to penalties, I only see us winning because we've got some great penalty takers. But I think it's going to be a tight game again. But I do think England, our name is on the cup. Our name is on the trophy. I really feel that.
Definitely is. It's been touch and go, like you said. We've had a few touches of luck, but sometimes you've just got to roll with that, haven't you? We're in the final. It depends if it turns up on the day. And I know as well, you've been playing on So Rare, choosing your teams and tactics. So you've got a bit of a head start on the rest of us, having managed professionally. But as someone who knows a lot better than we do, who's in your So Rare team? Who are the players you'd be picking?
Oh, my team this week is Pickford, Kane, Rodrigo, Saka. Oh my God, I'm getting old.
Is it
Who's the other one?
Yeah, was it 𝙃𝙎? It's
Oh, yeah.
Is that how it was?
Yeah. Sorry, yeah. I've got
and-
a in there. Yeah, that's me though. See, I'm picking all forwards.
Just
We're going
attacking.
for it. I ain't messing about. We're attacking.
We got one chance. We've got to do it, Harry.
We're going to go for it.
Rodrigo's a bit of a controversial option there. Talk me through the thought process.
The thought process of picking that team. Well, I think we've gone for a few goals. I think Harry Kane's got us. Harry's had a poor tournament, but at the end of the tournament, he'll probably end up leading goal scorer. He'll probably win the Golden Boot, even though he hasn't really played very well at all in the tournament. I'm a big Harry Kane fan. I think he's fantastic, but he has had he probably will end up after tomorrow night's game being leading goal scorer and winning the Golden Boot. Saka's been in great form. You know, I like him. He makes things happen. You know, he's a big threat. I think that's going to be a big interesting matchup tomorrow night between him and the boy from Chelsea, 𝙃𝙎𝙎𝙀. I don't know how they went when they played against each other this year, whether Saka got the better of him. But that will be an interesting matchup. So, yeah, I've sort of come down on the side of the team I picked, really, and hope for the best.
Love it.
Harry, on the basis of that, then, do you think there's does form in a final? Does form go out of the window?
Yeah, I think it will tomorrow. Yeah, I think the form will go out. I think Spain have been great, really, played good football, attacking football. But I still think we've got better players overall than them. I think we're stronger than them. And I think tomorrow in the one-off in a cup final, I just get a feeling that you're going to see, hopefully, we see England. You know, I saw Foden the other night. You know, Foden back in playing inside where he wants to play. First half the other night was fantastic.
Oh, Harry, you still there?
Yeah, I've lost you. Someone's ringing me. I'm not clever enough to push the button that tells you to let anybody disturb you.
That's fine. We'll let them ring out. That's what we'll do.
You'll go now. You'll disappear.
I think you're coming back. I think you're coming back on now. Hopefully. Hold on a second. I'll click pause. So if you want to take on Harry on the So Rare Rivals, make sure you do go and click on the link in the description below. Harry, we're talking a lot about Southgate's tactics and the style of play, and there's so many armchair fans that think they can do much better than a manager or a head coach. Let's relate this slightly back to West Ham. West Ham fans feel like we've been through that over the last couple of seasons with David Moyes. It's not been as pretty on the field. 2 seasons ago, or last year, we did win the Europa Conference League. And this season, we've seen a change with West Ham moving into a new position with a head coach, etc. But just briefly, if you don't mind, what's your kind of thoughts on Moyes' time at West Ham? And kind of relating it to
David did a great job, you know, and to win that, to take, you know, win the European, to win a trophy in Europe, that was a great night. I remember.
Oh no, it's happened again.
People, listen, I grew up at West Ham. It was my life. I went there, left school at 14, and Ron Greenwood was the manager. We had incredible players, all homegrown players. Bobby Moore, Jeff Hurst, Martin Peters, all came out the youth team. And they put Johnny Byrne, Budgie Byrne, one of the best centre forward, a genius of a footballer. And it was just a great group of players, and they played unbelievable football. And that's where the academy came into it. Everyone, you know, the style of football. Ron Greenwood was the best football coach I've ever met in my life. Until this, I've never met anybody who could compare with him, really. He was so forward thinking. And the brand of football. But you haven't got them players. You haven't got Bobby Moore playing from the back. You haven't got Jeff Hurst. You haven't got Martin Peters. And, you know, and then Billy came, and then Trevor came through, and all these people. Frank Lampard at left back. it was a break. But before that, the first group really that, you know, the Academy of Football was that team that won the FA Cup in '64 and the Cup Winners' Cup in '65. They played a brand of football that was very different. It was incredible football they played, but they had the players that could play that way. Budgie Byrne was a centre forward who was 5'7", but he could play Budgie like you'd never seen. Peter Braybrook, Alan Seeley, all Johnny Sissons, incredible players. But if you haven't got them type of players, you've got to do what you can with what you got. And I think David got the best out of the group. He did have some very talented players for sure, but you know, he got results, and you know, he sort of established the club back in a mid-table position. But West Ham's got so much potential. I hate it when people say West Ham's not a big club. West Ham is a massive club. They move stadiums, and suddenly they get they sell out every week, 60-odd thousand. People said they'd never fill what West Ham building a new stadium for. They'll never fill it. They could fill it nearly twice over. So West Ham is a big club, and eventually someone will take West Ham into a top four and challenge him. That's the potential of the football club.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I mean, I think about when we won the Europa Conference League and we came back to London and the bus tour went around London. You could see the multitude of hundreds of thousands of fans turning up to the streets. And I mean, I was there. It was an amazing experience. Holly, you were still in. And the thing is, there was still thousands of fans still across in Prague that couldn't get back to London in time. But there were still over 250,000 people there. Yeah. So it just shows you
it's only a matter of time, and probably no disrespect to David Sullivan, and you know, they've done a great job there, and David Gold, you know, bless him. But eventually the club will get sold, and you will get an owner will come in from wherever, from China or from wherever in the world, America or whatever. And the club will end up being up there, pushing for a top four position, Champions League. It's possible. They've got the support. They've got a stadium now. It's all there, you know, and it will happen. It will happen for sure.
And it looks like West Ham are moving into a new era, though, under the new head coach system. So, you know, Lopetegui's come in as a head coach. We've got Tim Steidten as a technical director. What's your kind of take on that, Harry, in terms of being a manager to a head coach to a manager? For you, it was everything, but now they seem to separate it, as you say.
Well, that is the trouble. It's difficult. I mean, you know, head coach, what you're doing, you're coaching. How much time do you get to coach the players, really? It's how much time do you get to actually implement your system of play with them? You know, you play Saturday, you know, you play Saturday or Sunday. Monday you'll have a warm down. Tuesday or Wednesday you're playing again. So really, what you're doing, you're relying on the judgment of the director of football. You're relying on his judgment. He's bringing players in, and you are relying on his judgment. If his judgment is bad and he's bringing you very average players in, you've got no chance, basically. What I would like to see happen in football, if they don't do well and they're going to sack the manager, sack the fellow who's in charge of the recruitment as well. He should go, because he's as responsible for sure. He's brought in players that have not been good enough. So it don't work that way. You know, they stay on and then the manager goes and somebody else comes in as head coach. But you are relying on the judgment, really, of whoever. And unless the manager and whoever's in charge of that are working on the same, singing off the same hymn sheet, it's very, very difficult. You know, you hope that he's got a relationship with whoever is responsible for the recruitment. I don't even know him. What's his name?
Tim Steidten.
Tim Steidten, yeah.
Who is it?
Tim Steidten. So it looks good so far with the signings that he has made, but it's going to be interesting. Like you said, it's just how they can work in tandem, isn't it? If they can work.
Yeah, where's he from? I don't know anything about him.
Go on, Anton, I'll let you.
Yeah, we brought him in from Borussia, Bayer Leverkusen, technical director from Bayer Leverkusen, and he oversaw with a group of other people the kind of success of players that have came into the club, done well, and then moved on for good profits to other clubs as well. So there's a kind of business model-ish sense of approach there. But he has been responsible for two of probably the most successful signings in the last year.
As well, who comes in. David's hands-on. Let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah.
He's into his football. He's a massive football fan, massive West Ham fan. He has a big say as well who comes in. We'd be kidding ourselves if we thought otherwise.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, he'd have people whispering in his ear about he's no good, he don't fancy him. If he don't fancy him, they're not coming in, that's for sure. That's how it works everywhere. It's not only there, it works everywhere. But what is good for West Ham, they've got a man running who owns the club, who loves the club. He's a supporter. He's not come from America or China or somewhere and knows nothing about the club and just bought it as an investment. He's a West Ham man through and through. He loves the Hammers, so that's a good part about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Harry, we know we're in the middle of only a couple more questions for you. So we're in the middle of the kind of transfer window, and we all know, as an outsider looking in, that you love a little transfer deal over the winter window or the summer window. What's your kind of any kind of stories you've got for us in relation to the transfer deadline day deals or the stresses of being a manager during that time and the pressure?
I always ended up with clubs that, you got a job at a club because they were in trouble. And, there ain't nobody in the world who's clever enough to take over a team that is a bad, average bunch of players, probably with someone with bad attitudes or whatever, and you want them out. You have to do something about it. And that means you've got to go in that transfer window, you've got to do something. If you think, I'm going to turn this lot around, they've been no good for the manager before, but I'm a genius. I can go out and get them on the training pitch for 2 hours. I can make them into great players. It don't happen. So you have to go and bring in better players and change them. And either that or, I went strong when I was at West Ham. My first move when I went there, I said, we've got to build the youth policy. This club has been built on producing its own players. That's what that club was about, West Ham. That team I'm talking, the 3 players that played in the World Cup winning team all came out of the youth team. The whole team nearly came out of the youth team. Homegrown players. And we did that. We ended up working very, very hard, and we're lucky as well in producing 6 kids who went on to become great players for England. Unfortunately, they got sold before they had a chance to become great players for West Ham. If they'd have kept the 6 of them, who knows where they'd have gone. But so, the transfer window. I met up like 2 weeks. No, not 2 weeks. Sorry, time flies. Not long ago, 2 months ago, or whatever. I bashed it. I went and saw 𝙒𝙎 𝙈𝙎, and when people talk about my favourite signings, 𝙒𝙎's got to be right there. I mean, he was just a fantastic footballer, and it was the biggest gamble I ever took in my life, really, in bringing him in, because everybody said I was crazy. He'd get me the sack. He was suspended. He pushed Mr. 𝙃𝙎𝙎, the referee, over when he played for Sheffield Wednesday against Arsenal. And the headlines in the newspaper said he'll get me the sack. I was walking a tightrope with no safety net under me and signing 𝙃𝙎𝙎. But he turned out to be one of the West Ham's all-time great players. And
I've got to ask, Harry. I've got to ask, what's it like managing someone that's such a character?
He was unbelievable. I mean, he was so fit. He was in such great condition. He didn't drink. He ate the right foods. He'd warm down. He'd come in on a Sunday morning for 2 hours with his own fitness coach from Italy and stretch and run. And he was just, and then, and he said to me, Gaffer, we are warming up. Razor Ruddock, he's here. Last night, he said he drank 12 pints. It 3 kebabs. I mean, it was a very, so I had a different, it was, but they were great lads, and 𝙒𝙎, we all loved him, all the players loved him, because he could do things that were just unbelievable, really. He was such a talented footballer, a genius, and I loved him as a fella as well.
And at the same time, you brought in 𝘾𝙂𝙎𝙎 as well. I mean, he was a quality signing at the time as well, wasn't he?
Who was that?
𝘾𝙂𝙎𝙎.
Mark was such a fantastic boy, he was an amazing boy. It was so sad, what happened. He passed away so young, playing for his country against France. But Mark was, he was a special. He was going to Man United actually, and then he broke his leg. He was with the Cameroon team at the World Cup, and he was due to fly over to Manchester to sign his contract and go back to Cameroon, meet up with the team again at the World Cup where they were based. And he broke his leg in training, and that was it. And I ended up Actually, I did nick him off of Man United at the time because they were definitely still wanting to take him. But we got in and got him down there to the club, London, everything. He was a wonderful, marvellous boy, great lad. And a good
No, that's. And
but when
listen,
you look
Harry,
at Freddie Coutinho playing up front with Parlo, I mean, what talent! Coutinho was a top player. Freddie Coutinho went on winning UEFA Cups or whatever with, I think he with Seville, 2 or 3 or whatever he won, and went to Tottenham. And Freddie was an amazing player as well. 6'4", great ability. Him and Parlo, what a pair. Trevor Sinclair was a good player, on the right hand side and gave us width. And there were some good players. And then you had all them kids coming through, Frank and Rio and Joe. Joe was the best schoolboy footballer I'd ever seen. Joe, he was a genius.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Michael Carrick, what a lovely man, Michael Carrick, and I wish him. I follow his career, and he was a fantastic player. Michael Jermaine Defoe still only just finished, obviously. What a career he had. Glenn Johnson.
And you took Defoe quite a few places, didn't you? With you?
Yeah, always. Well, you knew what you were getting with him. He was a goal scoring machine, wasn't he? A great pro. Same again, didn't drink, looked after himself, in great condition, practiced after training. Great example for Harry Kane when he was younger at Tottenham, how he'd take Harry and do some finishing with him every day. Yeah, Jermaine was a top player. But the whole group of them that 6 lads there that went on to play hundreds and hundreds of games for England between them. They were just incredible, really.
Yeah.
I
mean,
winning the Youth Cup 9-0, beating Coventry in the FA Youth Cup final. I mean, that was unreal.
But one of the most kind of underestimated seasons probably in West Ham's career is the year we finished 5th in the Premier League, Harry. Just for any of the younger people that are watching, people don't remember, but West Ham finishing 5th in the Premier League. What do you remember about that season in particular?
Yeah, we had a good team that year, and good players, and they were just a real good group of players, and it was great. I mean, to finish 5th, you take that now, wouldn't you? For sure. So that was good, and it got us into the Intertoto Cup as well. We went on and won that the following year, and that was a great time for us, going over to Metz and winning the final.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, fantastic. Yep, Harry, it's been an absolute pleasure. It really has. You've given up so much of your time. Before you go, I'm going to ask you, I don't know if you like doing it or not, but you've got a prediction for tomorrow's game, final, England-Spain.
I think England will win. It could go all the way. It could even go to penalties again. I think if it goes to penalties, we've got fantastic penalty takers. I have to laugh when I see Jordan Pickford wrote every player in their squad down where they take penalties. Now, where he's got that from, God only knows, because there's probably 10 of them or 11 of them never took a penalty in their life. So I don't know where he's got that information from,
Had a feeling.
It's like, I mean, if you go down a list of players and went to West Ham, well, he's never took a penalty. But it worked anyway. He saved one. So, but we've got good penalty takers. They all take penalties for their clubs, most of them. Cole Palmer, just incredible. Harry Kane's a penalty taker. Tony came on, great penalty taker. So, I think if it goes to penalties, it might go to penalties. But I think whatever happens, our name is on the cup. It's coming home at last.
You heard it here first. It's coming home.
You heard it here first. Gareth Southgate's been on the phone to Harry. Harry's been given a few pointers, and we'll get it all. Bring it home for England.
Good.
Harry, you're a legend, mate. Thank you very much.
Next year. The managers, they tell me he's a really lovely guy. I haven't met him, but they tell me he's a great guy. The manager at West Ham now.
𝙃𝙎𝙎.
That's really good.
They tell me he's a real lovely guy.
Yeah.
From all the videos we're seeing, it looks as though communication-wise is brilliant, and it looks like he could be, hopefully, the manager to take us to that next level.
And he does. He's obviously bilingual as well, so he really works. He speaks English, he speaks Spanish, he speaks Italian. I think he speaks a whole host of languages. So he's bringing sounds like he's trying to bring the squad really close together. When we probably felt maybe it's.
And the good news is, he's going to wear one of our coats, Sandbank's coats.
Is he? Yes.
I think we give him a coat, and I think he's going to wear it. Hopefully, but you know what happens? It's like when I managed. When you won, you wore the same gear. When if you got beat, you throw the coat away. You know.
Yeah.
It was so stupid. We're all so superstitious.
Yeah.
I've got to say, those coats look like the most comfortable, warm coats in the world. I always see them
Let's hope he keeps winning with it and he keeps wearing it.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The future's bright. The future is Claret and Blue. So, Ari, you don't need any introduction. You don't need anything. You know, everyone knows who you are and you're a proper legend of the game. Listen, if you're ever looking for a player like you did at that Oxford friendly, you can always call upon myself, Anton, or Holly if you ever need a player for any of your charity games you do or anything like that. You can always give us a shout.
I am into charity. That is where I am at the moment. I did one last Sunday up at Brockenhurst for a young smashing fellow who's the manager, been there 12 years. The manager was backing up. And then today, as I say, I'm going to open a new stand for Holt Football Club. It's a lovely little village football team. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. Nice people, grassroots football. People love the game, give up their time. Yeah. So really, and I went last night. In fact, last night I went and watched Dorchester play 𝙀𝙈𝙈𝙂. Non-league up the road to 𝙀𝙀𝙈𝙂. It was, lovely evening. Met lots of all local football people. Love the game, give up their time. I love that. It's brilliant.
Harry, I do have a final question, and I know I've been saying that for a while, but if you're a young, enthusiastic player who's maybe 8, 9, or 10 that wants to make it in the world of football, what's your advice to them?
Oh, practice. Want to do it, live for it, practice. Keep playing, keep practicing. The more you practice, I could tell you so many players who have just trained and worked and practiced and wanted to be players. The more time you spend practicing, the better you get. These people, it's like golfers, they practice hours, they don't just get and hit the ball. And football's the same. And, I remember listening to Alan Ball one day. Alan Ball was one of the great players. He played in the '66 World Cup winning team. And he lived in the old cobble streets of Lancashire. And he had a wall outside his back where he lived, probably saying like Coronation Street is where he lived. But every day his dad would have him out there, left foot, right foot against the wall. Practice. Get that ball out, master the ball, spend time with the football. And the more you work it, the better chance you've got.
Yep. Are you coming back into management anytime soon?
No, I've had it. Well, I'm probably soccer aid is about my limit now.
Still pull off a Sunday after class.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming on the channel, Harry. It's been
great talking to you guys.
Yeah, thanks. You too, mate. Thank you very much, Harry.
If you come down to Bournemouth this year to watch West Ham, I'll be there. Right. That's the only place I go. Really, I go to Bournemouth every week. It's only 10 minutes from home.
Yeah.
So it's great. I watch Premier League football every week. I buy me season tickets. I go with my grandkids. I take some mates with me, and I go enjoy that. I go and watch Bournemouth play.
Love it. There you go.
So I saw West Ham last year when they came. I saw the game.
Yeah, that was the first game of the season as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Well, Barry, I'm going to take you up on that offer. You'll be seeing me and Holly knocking your door.
Take care.
Cheers for that, Harry. Take it easy.